Today we're going to go over 5 sampling mistakes I used to make back in my early days so that you can avoid them, and I'll be telling you why you should leave this loop just the way it is, but for that you will have to wait until mistake number 5. So for now, let's start with the mistake number 1, and that is picking the first sample that sounds kind of cool to you. So tell me this, how many times have you gone onto YouTube or Samplet or wherever you pick your samples and just chose the first sample that sounded kind of cool? It had like a nice hook or nice vocals and it had some potential. Because back in the day, like I used to do this all the time. So I would just literally find the first sample that I kind of liked and I would be like, okay, let's try to figure out something nice with this. And now, you know, there is nothing wrong with sampling songs that sound cool to you, but usually making a great song out of a cool sample is pretty hard. So if you want to create great songs, you need great samples. So for my example beat, here I got this sample by Pilots called Do Me Good, and I've actually spent like over 3 hours looking for this sample. And so once I heard it, I just knew exactly that I wanted to sample this and I wanted to use the guitar in it. And so what I did with it is I actually pitched it up 5 semitones, I sped it up, and I basically chopped up the guitar. So my chops sound like this. To start adding my own elements, I grabbed this dark bass and also this analog lap synth, and I created my own bass line plus built my own chords on top of that bass line, which sounds like this. Next, I sampled the drum break and a shaker loop. I rounded everything off with an electric guitar, arranged it, and here's how my full beat sounds. And so my mistake number 2 was focusing on every element in the sample. So the more I sample, the more I notice that usually there's just one element in the sample that actually catches my attention. So the rest of the sample is kind of just treated for me as a noise or some sort of filler. So whether those are vocals, lyrics, melodies, chords, drums, or whatever, identifying that one element you actually want to focus on in the sample and using your sample just around that one element is going to make it so much simpler for you to actually use the sample. So before I explain this any further, let's actually build out the beat so I can show you what I mean by that. As my sample, I'm gonna use another rock band called Blackjack, and this sample is called Counting on You. And so I actually didn't do any heavy processing to it. I literally just EQ'd out the high end and the low end. So now let's start building around this sample. So first of all, I'm gonna grab my bass and I'm gonna use a Able bass from Ableton. And I'm gonna just pretty much follow my sample. Next up, I'm gonna grab this Juno synth and I'm going to literally build out my chords on top of my bass line. And you can already start noticing that the beat is getting really crowded. So let's keep going with this further. Let's add my drums. For the first part of the drums, I kind of use this like snare that literally just plays every 2 bars at the end. And for my actual drums, I get inspired by Kanye West Yeezus. So I use this kick, this snare that's from Kanye West Guilt Trip, and this breath that's literally from Black Skinhead. And so all of this together sounds like this. Now, once again, there is even less space, and that's not even everything, because I want to add these strings here and this electric guitar. But if I add this, I'm literally gonna have no space. So what I did at this point is I took a step back and I started thinking about my sample. What do I actually like in my sample, and what do I want to keep, or what do I want to remove from it? And so when I started listening to it, I realized that the only thing I really want from it are the vocals, because I have my own bass, I have my own chords, I have my own melodies, I have my own drums, so I don't need that. Realistically, I just want the sample vocals. So that's exactly what I did. I stem separated my sample and I just got the vocals, which is literally that. I also added a little bit of processing to them so they're not as dry. I just added some reverb, some phasers, and a little bit of compression, and all of a sudden it's gonna sound way better. Let's actually listen to how my full beat for this point sounds. And so mistake number 3 I used to do is I try to replicate other samples too much. I know for a fact that we all get inspired by other samples or other artists' music all the time. And so have you ever heard somebody else like use a sample and then you were like, hold on, let me actually try to do something similar, you know? And so I personally would go on to and try to look for a really similar sample with a really similar sounding like vocals and everything. And I would try to use it in a really similar way, which only ended up in me being frustrated that my sample doesn't sound as good. Obviously now I know that that was the wrong way to go about it. And by the way, this is also kind of the reason why I don't like the concept of type beats so much. But anyway, that's beside the point. Because now I know a better way to go about this is to just simply study a sampling technique someone used to make that beat, or how did they use their sample, or what did they do with their sample to actually get the outcome, the beat they wanted. And then don't try to replicate that one-to-one, just try to find a sample you like and try using the sampling technique you learned from that beat instead of trying to do a similar sounding beat. So for me, that beat that I kind of wanted to replicate was Kanye West Through the Wire. And so I actually remade Kanye's Through the Wire beat, but what I learned is basically this technique which I used for my sample here. So this sample is called Going in Circles, and the technique here is that I just have two sample sections that I used, which basically have the exact same progression within the sections. And what that allows me to do is I can chop between them. And so, for example here, this yellow section at the top has vocals in it, while this bottom section, the red one, doesn't have vocals in it. So I can literally just use the section with the vocals for a little bit, then chop to the section without vocals, and then chop back to the section with vocals. The next thing that I added was my bass, and I actually have two layers of it. One is this sub bass, and then second is this like Moog bass that's higher up in the octave. Next up, I grabbed this drum break, added a couple bongos, and I rounded off the entire track with an electric guitar. And yeah, that's actually it. If I arrange it out and add a Kanye West Otis acapella, it's going to sound like this.
Everything's for sale, got 5 passports, I'm never going to jail. I made Jesus rocks, I'm never going to hell. Couture level flow is never going on sale. Luxury rap, the Hermes of verses. Sophisticated ignorance, write my curses in cursive. I get it custom, you a customer. You ain't custom to going through customs, you ain't been nowhere, huh? And all the ladies in the house got them showing out. I'm done, I hit you up, man, yeah? Nah. Welcome to Havana, smoking Cubanos with Castro with the banners.
And mistake number 4 is I refused to learn music theory. Now, you might ask, what does music theory have to do with sampling? And why not learning it makes you worse at sampling? Nowadays, everybody online is saying you don't need music theory, you don't need to learn it to make good beats. And sure, you don't. But do you really not think that understanding music theory or at least the most basic concepts of it, will not help you with making better beats? And do you really think it won't help you with understanding your samples better? Because to be honest, that's exactly what it will do. Literally, learning music theory is going to help you understand your samples so much better, and it will help you to chop them up better, to arrange them better, to add better chords to them, and all of that just by learning the most basic music theory concepts, which, trust me, it's actually not all that hard. So here's my sample. It's called Southern Ballad by Blackjack. And so just because I understand music theory better, I was able to right away tell that I did not like the progression of these sample chops, which made me realize that I actually don't want the entirety of the sample, I just want the vocals. So I once again stem separated the sample, which kind of goes back to the previous mistake. And once I do that, my sample is gonna look like this, and it's just gonna leave the vocals by themselves. And so also now, thanks to the fact that I know music theory better, I can add my own progression, I can create my own chords and my own melodies, which is gonna let me make a beat that wouldn't be possible if I didn't understand those concepts. And so first of all, I'm gonna grab this Juno bass, and I will create this progression with it. Which allows me to grab this progression and using this arpeggio synth and those strings, I can create my own chords, which are just gonna sound completely different to what was happening in the sample, and they're gonna sound way more unique. Also, I can grab an electric guitar and make a simple melody for my loop. All I'm gonna have left to do is just grab a drum break, chop it up slightly, thicken it up with my own kick, and yeah, that's basically it. And so, finally, my biggest mistake number 5, is I let my ego ruin the sample. Yeah, this one is pretty simple. You know, I would find a really good chop, I would loop it, add instruments, drums, and the beat would sound great, right? But then what would happen is my ego would start to hurt me, because, you know, I'd be thinking to myself that like, oh, this was too easy, this was too simple, I can't leave it just like that. I need to do more, I need to chop it up, I need to add this, I need to do that, you know, which just always resulted in me taking a great beat and ruining it. So sometimes when you have a simple sample and a simple sample chop where it's just looped, don't overthink it. Just leave the loop like that. If it sounds good, it doesn't matter that the sample is simple. So here I just have this sample called My Lover, and this element here, it was just at the beginning here. So I grabbed this, moved it to the end of the loop. And so this sample loop is literally just what I build my beat on top of. I don't overthink it further than that. After this, I just grab this bass and I make this pattern with it. And I add this drum break with few additional one-shots like this kick and this snare to simply just thicken up my loop. And yeah, that's pretty much the core of the beat. And so if you want to learn sampling and you want to join the #1 sampling community in the entire world, then check out Sample Academy. It's first link in the description. And actually the last beat I showed you was made with help from Uke and Hugo, who are members of Sample Academy. And yeah, that's pretty much everything. So if you want to understand better what's happening in your samples, then check this playlist out, which has all of my best free resources for learning sampling. And yeah, see you there.